Ever had one of those weeks where you became the illustration in your own sermon? You know, you're working on your message all week long. You're crafting that big idea that you really want people to grasp to help them in their life. And somehow God arranges things to happen during the week to help you grow and experience the very thing that you want to preach about on a Sunday. Well, I tell you, I cannot tell you how many weeks that happened to me, where I became my own illustration in a sermon. Well, this last week, while I was at Simpson University for a Board of Trustees meetings, I was thinking through what I really wanted to share with all of the leaders of the Alliance Northwest, and I landed on a concept, and then I had some opportunities to grow and experience and to see how am I doing in the very things I wanted to share with you. And it began on Saturday. And it was homecoming at Simpson University this week. So festivities were happening everywhere. I was trying to grab a quick bite. I'm pulling through a parking lot. It's raining. I see this guy getting out of his car and he wants to cross in front of me in the rain. So I stop. I give him the wave. You know, hey, dude, it's all good. Cross. I see you. And he waves back, starts walking across the road. So while he's moving in front of me, to my right, there was a truck parked. He apparently didn't see that I was sitting there waiting for the guy to cross. He puts it in reverse, and the next thing I feel in my rental car is a thud. And I turn, I look out of the passenger window, and all I see is the tailgate of a Ford F-150 that just backed right into my rental car. And so I had that moment, you know, how will I respond? How will I react? What's going on in surrounding me in that moment? The guy who I let pass, he looks at me and he mouths, "I'm sorry." I get out of the car and that guy says, "Man, I almost feel like it's my fault." I go, "No, it's not your fault. Don't worry about it." Then I go over to the truck to talk to the man who backed into me. And I was wondering, you know, are we going to have one of those scenes that we see blow up on Instagram Reels and on TikTok about the confrontation in the parking lot? So I'm just asking Jesus to shine through me. I end up having a great conversation with the guy who backed into me. We exchanged our information, and he was a believer, so that was kind of a cool piece too. And I left, you know, I went back on my way, but I had this moment where the thing that kind of surrounded me, it didn't control me. And so I was thankful to go, hey, God, apparently you're still doing some work in me. Thank you that, you know, I responded versus reacting in that particular situation. But he wasn't done with me yet. So the next day, Sunday, I'm flying back. So my flight was Sacramento. So I had to drive back to Sacramento from Redding. And then my flight was Sacramento, layover in Salt Lake, and then Salt Lake into Portland. And so it's a windy, blustery day, pouring down rain all the way down the freeway to get to Sacramento. I get to the airport, fill out my here I hurt your car sheet. Sorry, man. There's a dent in the Mustang. And so I turn that in. I'm still doing great on time. I get to the gate, and this is the big sign: flight's delayed. And so we're close to my transfer time in Salt Lake. I'm going, we might make it. I get on the plane, and then we taxi, and then we sit for like 45 minutes. And I'm in that moment. I can start to feel the tension rise. Right? I'm going, I'm gonna miss my transfer. And so we finally take off, and my next flight left Salt Lake at 5:10. So I look at my watch at 5:10, and I'm somewhere over Utah. and I had this moment going, well, okay, I'm missing my transfer. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when I land. Meanwhile, the people next to me freaking out and angry. And when the plane finally lands, they're up in the aisle, you know, and they're kind of kind of stressed, and I had this calm wash over me. It was really just like a shalom. God is just saying, I'm in control of everything for you. This instance is just a blip. So be at peace and take the next step, which I did. I went and got in line of Delta Customer Services, and I'm about 20 back because there have been a few delayed and missed flights. And there's like 4 people working the counter. They're all getting yelled at. And so by the time I get up to the front, I've heard the shtick. I have heard there are no more flights to Portland on Sunday. That the earliest I can get out is Monday morning, and that they've run out of hotel vouchers. So sorry, you have to spend the night, and figuring out where you're going to sleep is on you. And again, I just had this sense of peace that God's up to something in this. I got to the counter, and I looked at the guy, and I just knew he was waiting for me to yell at him. So I told him, I go, hey, I just want you to know I've been hearing your shtick for a while here. So I know the earliest I can get out is tomorrow, so let's get me booked on that. And I know you don't have vouchers for hotels. You know, don't worry, I got an app. I can figure it out. I said, I'm really sorry you've had this day. It's beyond your control. Things happen. And, I said, I just want to bless you. And he was really nice. He received it well. And then he starts just sharing with me what's been going on, how hard it's been. And I say that because one of the things I wanted to share with you is sometimes in ministry, we are surrounded by tension. We are surrounded by struggle. We are surrounded by the enemy. We are surrounded by choices, and we are surrounded by the tyranny of the urgent and so many things that have to get done. We're surrounded by just seems like these forces that keep us from doing the very thing we love to do. It wears us out. It winds us up, and we often don't become a really good response or a conduit for the love of Christ to flow through. And that was reminding me of a story in the book of 2 Kings. It's a story I know that you know well, but here's where I'd like to go with the story for us today. And it's the story of Elisha and his servant Gehazi. And we have Ben-Hadad, the king of Aram, and he's trying to take out Israel, right? And every time he has a strategy to take out Israel, God reveals the strategy to Elisha. Elisha notifies the king of Israel, hey, here's what Ben-Hadad's going to do. So don't go here or don't go there, don't go there, because they're going to be waiting for you in ambush. And every time the king of Israel received that word from Elisha, they diverted, and Ben-Hadad was like, what is going on? He assumes there's a mole. He assumes there's a mole in his leadership. And so he's asking his top leaders one day, who is it that is giving Elisha this information and getting it to the king of Israel? And so someone says it's no one from the inside. Elisha is getting this information himself. He knows the words that come out of your mouth, even when you speak them in your bedchamber. And I love that line. They're like, hey, king, Elisha knows the things you speak in the most intimate of places, that it's the most protected of places. He is hearing that, and he's telling the king of Israel, and it's thwarting us. Well, of course, the only response for Ben-Hadad is to go and try to take Elisha out. So he mounts his army. They go and they surround Elisha, and Elisha is standing there with his servant Gehazi, and he's looking at the enemy that has just about to pounce and to crush him. And understandably, Gehazi's freaking out a lot. And there's this moment when Elisha speaks to Gehazi and he prays. And he says this word. He said, "O Lord, open his eyes," Gehazi. "O Lord, open his eyes so he may see." Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked up and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. It's easy to have Gehazi moments in ministry. You get the flaming email, the flaming text, the flaming phone call. The pressure's on. All of these things are coming at you. It's easy to be Gehazi and to look at those things. But what Elisha got to see was beyond the things that surrounded him. Elisha saw that God was surrounding the very things that were surrounding him. Did you catch that? God surrounds the things that are surrounding you. And we move into a Gehazi mode when our focus is taken by the things that surround us, the tyranny of the urgent, the anger, or the people that might be leaving or saying things about you or making ministry really hard. When we stay focused on that, what we don't have are Elisha's eyes to see beyond that, that God is surrounding all the things that are surrounding you. So I don't know who this word for is this month. It might be you. It might be a friend of yours. But if you have been feeling burnout and you're tired and you are just seeing everything that is surrounding you today, just take this word to heart, my friend. God is surrounding the things that surround you. He's got you. So lift up your eyes like Elisha to see that there is nothing that you walk through that God is not intimately with you and walking through it together with you. And in fact, he's got a game plan. This month in ministry, I pray that your eyes may be opened, that you would see you are surrounded by God's angels, his chariots, his help, his love, his presence. There's something surrounding the obstacles that are surrounding you. May you receive that and take some hope, and may your courage and faith increase this month. I love you all, and I look forward to talking with you soon. And don't forget, God is surrounding the things that are surrounding you.